There is a quiet pattern many INFJs recognize, but rarely talk about. They stay longer than they should, longer than is healthy, longer than their heart can truly handle, while others walk away sooner. The INFJ personality often remains, hoping, understanding, forgiving, believing things can still change. And from the outside, people wonder, why don't they just leave? But the answer is not weakness. It is not blindness. And it is not a lack of self-worth in the way people assume. The real reason INFJs stay longer in toxic relationships is deeply connected to the very traits that make the INFJ personality type so empathetic, intuitive, and emotionally complex. So let's slow down, breathe, and gently step into the INFJ inner world to understand what is really happening. 1. INFJs see potential, not just reality. One of the most defining INFJ personality traits is the ability to see potential in people. Where others see behavior, INFJs see wounds. Where others see flaws, INFJs see unmet needs. Where others see red flags, INFJs see stories that explain them. The INFJ mindset naturally looks beneath the surface. Their intuition and empathy combine to form a deep psychological insight into why people act the way they do. So when someone in a relationship behaves in hurtful or unhealthy ways, the INFJ does not immediately label them as toxic. Instead, they think, they're stressed, they're hurting, they didn't mean it that way, they just need to feel understood. This INFJ empathy is beautiful. It allows them to love people who feel unseen by the world. But in toxic relationships, this same empathy can keep INFJs tied to someone's potential, long after the reality has become painful. 2. INFJs feel responsible for emotional healing. The INFJ personality often carries a quiet sense of emotional responsibility. They feel responsible for keeping peace, reducing conflict, helping others grow, being the emotionally safe person in the relationship. This is part of INFJ emotional intelligence and the INFJ desire for harmony. When someone they love is struggling, INFJs don't just witness it. They feel called to help heal it. In a toxic relationship, this turns into a silent belief. If I love them better, they will change. If I stay patient, they will feel safe enough to grow. If I understand them deeply enough, things will improve. INFJs are natural supporters. But relationships require two people doing emotional work. When only one person is trying to heal the connection, exhaustion quietly builds. Still, the INFJ stays, because leaving feels like giving up on someone they believe could be better. 3. INFJs bond through emotional depth. The INFJ personality type forms bonds through deep emotional connection. Once they open their inner world to someone, that connection feels sacred. INFJs do not attach lightly. They share slowly. They trust carefully. But once that bond forms, it runs deep. Even in unhealthy dynamics, INFJs remember the late-night conversations, the vulnerable confessions, the moments of closeness that felt real. Their INFJ emotional depth makes it hard to separate the person's harmful behavior from the emotional intimacy that once existed. They think, we've shared too much to just walk away. They know parts of me no one else does. This makes letting go feel like losing a piece of their own emotional history. 4. INFJs overthink the decision to leave. INFJ overthinking is not just about conversations. It deeply affects relationship decisions. Before leaving, the INFJ mind runs through endless questions. What if I'm misunderstanding them? What if this is just a rough phase? What if they really do change after I leave? What if I regret walking away? The INFJ mindset always considers long-term emotional consequences. They don't just ask, am I unhappy right now? They ask, is leaving truly the right thing, for both of us? Because INFJs hate causing pain, even when they are the ones hurting. They hesitate. They replay memories. They analyze patterns. They search for certainty in a situation that only offers emotional fog. 5. INFJs minimize their own needs. Another reason INFJs stay longer in toxic relationships is their habit of putting their own needs last. The INFJ personality is highly attuned to others' emotions but often disconnected from their own limits until they are deeply exhausted. They think, It's not that bad. I can handle it. They need me more than I need comfort right now. INFJs are strong emotional containers. They can hold discomfort quietly for a long time. But just because they can endure something does not mean it is healthy. Still, their empathy turns outward, and their own emotional pain becomes background noise. 6. INFJs believe in growth and redemption. At their core, INFJs believe people can change. This belief is part of the INFJ vision for a better world and the INFJ desire to see others become their best selves. They don't see people as fixed. They see them as evolving. So in toxic relationships, INFJs hold on to the version of the person they glimpsed during good moments. They think, I've seen their kind side. I know who they could be. This isn't the real them. Hope becomes the glue that keeps them in place. Not naive hope, but emotionally invested hope rooted in intuition and past connection. 7. INFJs fear hurting others. Even when deeply unhappy, INFJs worry about the emotional impact of leaving. How will they cope without me? Will this break them? Am I abandoning someone who needs support? The INFJ personality often feels guilt for prioritizing their own well-being. Their empathy extends so far outward that they imagine the other person's pain more vividly than their own. So they stay, trying to soften the situation, trying to leave slowly, trying to make the ending hurt less. 8. INFJs struggle to accept when something is truly unhealthy. Because INFJs search for meaning and growth in everything, they sometimes reinterpret red flags as lessons. Maybe this is teaching me patience. Maybe I'm meant to learn boundaries here. Maybe this struggle has a purpose. While reflection is a powerful INFJ trait, it can blur the line between growth and emotional self-neglect. Not every painful relationship is a spiritual lesson. Sometimes it is simply misalignment. Sometimes it is emotional harm. But INFJs take longer to reach that clarity because they are always searching for deeper understanding. 9. INFJs leave quietly, but only after reaching a breaking point. When INFJs finally leave toxic relationships, it can seem sudden to others. But internally, they have been grieving for a long time. They have replayed memories, analyzed patterns, given second chances, third chances, silent chances no one knew about. And when they reach emotional clarity, something shifts. The INFJ door closes quietly but firmly. This is not impulsive. It is the result of deep internal processing and the realization that staying is costing them their emotional health. 10. The real reason. The real reason INFJs stay longer in toxic relationships is not weakness. It is empathy without boundaries, hope without evidence, love without equal support, understanding without reciprocity. The INFJ personality is built to see the best in people, to nurture growth, to hold emotional space. But without balance, these beautiful INFJ traits turn inward and become self-sacrifice. If you are an INFJ who has stayed too long in a painful relationship, be gentle with yourself. You did not stay because you lacked strength. You stayed because you had compassion, because you believed in healing, because you saw potential, because you loved deeply. Those are not flaws. They are powerful INFJ qualities. But even the most empathetic heart deserves safety. Even the most understanding soul deserves reciprocity. Even the most patient person deserves peace. And sometimes, the healthiest thing an INFJ can do is not to understand someone more, but to finally choose themselves.